Hello and welcome to GUTV Bracketology, your destinations for all things March Madness. I'm Angelo San Giacomo.
And I'm Cohen Jenkins. For us here at GUTV, the madness starts tonight, as we're gearing up to create our brackets before the teams hit the court.
GUTV, through CBS Sports, has created an exclusive league for the Zag community. GUTV Bracketology is our biggest fundraiser for the year, helping us to keep up to date with the latest technology in professional broadcasting. Signing up couldn't be any easier, but just in case you need some help, we'll have our resident wise guy, Cohen Jenkins, show you what to do.
Alright, so if you follow me over to Zagatron here, I'm going to show you how to make your very own GUTV bracket. Step 1 is following the link on our GUTV Facebook or Twitter page. Step 2 is creating a CBS account and inputting all your information in there. Step 3, you're going to select your favorite teams. I hope that's Gonzaga, but I won't blame you if it's not. Then you're going to have to go back to the link. It's going to say it's a private group, but if you go back to the link you originally get, then you'll be able to join the group if you press the button Join Group here. Now you won't be able to fill out the full bracket until Selection Sunday happens, but you have plenty of time to prepare until then. And then you have to make sure to fill out your full bracket by Tuesday, March 14th. Otherwise you won't be able to get it in because that's when the first round of games starts. Now do that as soon as possible if you can. Later on in the show, I'll be sitting down with Andy Buhler, who's the sports writer for the Gonzaga Bulletin. He's going to give you a lot more tips on how to fill in your bracket. Stay tuned. And remember, you aren't the only member of the family who can play this year. We actually have a division for pets where they can use their superior senses of sniff to sniff out the winner. Last year, one of our favorite brackets was created by Moose the Cow. Fingers crossed that she signs up again. My cat Flanders over here will also have his own bracket this year. Angelo?
Thanks, Cohen. When you listen to or watch the Zags play basketball, the commentators are always giving you new nuggets of wisdom and insight into the team and the game itself. GUTV Ryan Edwards took Richard Fox, former Zag basketball player and SWX commentator, on a lap around McCarthy Athletic Center in our special, The One Lap. Ryan Edwards is our resident expert in all things basketball, broadcasting, and brotherhood.
So Richard, me and you are really a lot alike.
We are.
Both almost, well, I'm 7 feet tall, you're almost there.
Thank you.
I'm a broadcasting major, you were a broadcasting major. Also being on the basketball team. What kind of experiences did you like being a broadcasting major and being on the basketball team?
When I got into broadcasting, the whole idea for me was to actually call games. And so, funny enough, when I would watch games when I was playing, I would often look at it from the perspective of, well, we might play them, or this is what they're running, but also if I was calling the game, what would I say, or what I liked or didn't like about certain broadcasters. So we didn't really have the option back then to call a game through school, but being in the program got me starting to think about what I do now. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I sit on the bench every now and then. I think about just like things I would say during the game, and it's kind of interesting. And here at Gonzaga, we have people call it a brotherhood on the team, and when you played here, you kind of took that to a whole different level with one of your teammates, right?
I decided to make him family. Sean Mallon, who was a freshman my senior year, actually my redshirt junior year, and then we played together because he sat out his freshman year. His younger sister and I met. She worked at the Gonzaga MBA school. I was a student there, and one thing led to another, and I asked her out. I'll say Sean wasn't thrilled about it at first, but he came around and got on board.
So you and Colleen have twins, right?
Yeah, girl and a boy.
Okay.
Jack and Hannah.
How's that life?
It's all right. 10 months old. They are sleeping well at night, but like I like to tell everybody, you don't catch up on the sleep you lost the first 6-7 months. So we're still pretty tired.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But it's awesome. I mean, it's an amazing experience.
What do you think about our team this year, and how our chances are looking in the NCAA tournament and the WCC?
Man, you guys are as good as I've seen here. And I've been here since 2001. You guys got great depth. Hopefully Killian can come back. You go 8 deep, really long, about as good a collection of athletes, really skilled. I think you guys are poised just like the team, 2 years ago? I think you guys are Elite Eight, and I think that's a realistic, ceiling for you, or floor for you guys. I think you're good enough to get there. And then, I tell everybody gets caught up in the Final Four. Get to the Elite Eight, 40 minutes away, see what happens. Tee it up, play. I think you guys have as good a chance as anybody to get there.
So you're saying Final Four or the Elite Eight?
I think you guys get the lead 8, and then I'll be sitting on the couch watching like every other fan, really nervous. And you know this, you've been around long enough. It's about matchups. And until you see the bracket.
Yep, it's all about what comes down the line.
Then you get to that weekend, you really don't know.
Yeah. So, being a Zag alumni and kind of having that brotherhood, I heard you have a lot of, alumni you still talk to, a bunch of friends. What's that like?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, Zach Gord, who graduated a year before me, actually lives up the street. Corey Violet, who I graduated with, doesn't live 5 minutes away. We used to work together. It's Blake Stepp, Kyle Banke, guys from my area, even some of the older guys, Mike Nielsen and Ryan Floyd, Casey Calvary. It's not uncommon for me to see those guys every other week.
Yeah,
whether it be professionally, socially, or whatever.
Yeah, they're all living in Spokane nowadays.
Yeah.
So
I'll be interested to see you younger guys. How many of you guys stick around? And you guys, the guys who have graduated after us, are playing longer and longer.
True.
So
it's very true.
It'll be interesting to see once you guys are all done playing, if you guys stick around.
Yeah, it's just kind of the whole Zag family mentality, which you just kind of fall in love with the place and the community, and it's quite the sight to see.
I tell everybody this is, Gonzaga basketball has a big part to do with it, but I think it's the university. I think it's the community. I think all of these things come together, and they really are the reason you stay.
Well, obviously, that's our one lap.
One lap, that's all I get?
Yeah, one lap. I wish we
Okay.
could do 2. We could do 2.
Are you sure you don't have a big brother, Ryan? I see a lot of similarities between you two, or at least hear them. Back in his day at GUTV, Richard was part of the first comedy show, which our director, Dan Garrity, swore was at least a little funny. Now let's get back to Cohen to recap the WCC basketball tournament in Las Vegas. Cohen?
Well, thanks, Angelo. The Zags absolutely dominated the WCC tournament over the last 4 days. After easily downing Pacific and overcoming some really hot shooting from Santa Clara, Gonzaga went to work on rival St. Mary's. Taking a 21-point halftime lead, the Gales then came back strong in the second half, but the senior leadership and 22 points from Nigel Williams-Goss brought Gonzaga to a 74-56 victory and a 5th straight WCC tournament title. The GU women's team was just as successful, and they punched their ticket to the dance with an 86-75 victory over the Lady Gales of St. Mary's. You see, each year Las Vegas is flooded by GU fans as they cheer on the Zags in the WCC tournament. Much like many other seniors, our own Samantha Takizawa and Danny Palumba made the trek, and they gave us an inside look at the Gonzaga tradition and the craziness that ensues.
Las Vegas has earned the name Sin City for a reason, so it's great that a bunch of Jesuit students are hanging out here this weekend.
And of course, as you all know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Or does it?
Vegas is a treasure trove of activities and experiences. Want to visit Italy? Go to the Venetian for a gondola ride. How about travel back to medieval England, then visit the Excalibur and eat extravagant meals during the Tournament of Kings?
Vegas has many daily shows to see, and many celebrities performing nightly for fans. Celine Dion has been performing in Caesar's Palace along with Rod Stewart and Elton John. Even the Backstreet Boys are back in action at Planet Hollywood.
Cirque du Soleil has also made its home in Vegas, with current shows like Love in the Mirage, O in the Bellagio, and Mystere in Treasure Island.
Not only are hotels hosting incredible shows, but are partying through the night with nightclubs and lounges.
Although Vegas can sometimes be considered a 21 and over playground, there are options for underage vacationers too. Between New York's roller coaster, the Pinball Hall of Fame, and Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, there are many exciting activities for family fun.
And in the Las Vegas heat, pools are a must. The MGM has 6.5 acres of pools and a lazy river to relax and soak in the sun.
Although Las Vegas can sometimes get a bad reputation, there are actually a lot of very fun activities for people of all ages.
All you have to do is go out and explore. Samantha Takizawa,
Danny Palumba, GUTV.
That actually looks like a lot of fun. The amount of support the Zags get in Vegas certainly is impressive.
Coming up next, we will check in with Kelsey Morgan in our tweet suite about this week's giveaway and more Vegas stories. Stick around, we'll be right back on GUTV.
Hey Zags, my name is Caleb Dawson and this is the GSBA Minute. I'm ready and dressed for Bomb Squad for my practice tonight, but before I go, I want to give you a quick update on how your voice is making a difference on campus. Because of student voices, administrators knew that we lost something special in Crosby when we moved over to Hemmingson. There's certain spaces here that we loved, like the comfy couches and more round tables that we weren't able to find in the same way here in Hemmingson. They took that into consideration, and actually right over here, it was a storage space that they decided to repurpose as a lounge. So within the next couple months, we're gonna have a new lounge that's dedicated for students. We're gonna have comfy couches, we're gonna have a wall dedicated to student art. We're gonna have lots of round tables of different sizes, even a stage so that we can have things like coffee house here in a new space with really cool lighting. Really excited about that project and how your voices are making a difference. So thank you for doing that, and know that seniors, there's a chance that we might have this project done before you graduate. So stay tuned and check out the good things to come. Go Zags!
Excited to bring you the first episode in our 4-part series, and we hope you're having just as much fun watching as we have had producing it. Well, followers of @GUTV Zags on Twitter this week had the opportunity to win a $10 Amazon gift card. All you had to do was tweet us photo evidence that you signed up for GUTV's Bracketology. Later on in the show, we'll get to see who won that promo, but first of all, let's take a look at how much fun some of our Zags had in Vegas this weekend. Esteemed GUTV alum Stephen Carr said he had fun bringing his parents to their first ever WCC tournament. His dad is pictured here bringing back the sweatshirt around the waist look, but Stephen, I don't think that ever went out of style for dads. And our own GUTV senior Robert Perry is actually a member of the Gonzaga Bulldog Band, and it looks like they got some time in between games to hike at the Red Rock Canyon, and Robert is of course repping the Zags. But it wasn't just the fans that got a chance to have some fun in Vegas. The basketball players actually got a chance to try some other sports. Let's take a look as GUTV senior Ryan Edwards tried his hand at golf. So maybe golf isn't his forte, but at least he's a little better at basketball. The guys won the WCC tournament, as you know. Ryan's pictured here on the right. Congrats, guys, on the big win, and let's go back to Angelo for some more bracketology.
Thanks, Kelsey. Sounds like Danny and Samantha are not the only Zags who enjoyed their time in Sin City. Here at GUTV, we are very proud of our alumni who have gone through the broadcasting program. Many of our alumni are successful in the professional world. One of these is Greg Talbott. Cohen got to know Greg and how he's making his dreams come true.
By the time Gregory Talbott made it here to Gonzaga's broadcasting program, he was already a man on a mission.
Hey Gonzaga, how's it going? This is the Doghouse on GUTV, our first show of the semester. Along with Brenna Green, I'm Greg Talbott.
At Lake Oswego High School in Portland, Oregon, he found his love for sports broadcasting. His passion for the game and soothing voice allowed him to jump into football announcing quite early.
On second down, Green facing blitz. He goes deep to Sam James. No! It is caught! Touchdown! Richmond Hill! Aaron Bedgood took it away from Sam James and took it to the house!
When looking for a college to expand his skills, Gonzaga was the clear choice for him, especially after he sat down with the head of the broadcasting department, Dan Garrity.
Even over the phone, you could tell this was a young man who really knew where he was headed. He was one of the most focused people I can ever remember coming in contact with, let alone as a senior in high school.
I emailed him after we sat down, and then I thanked him in a thank you email like a day later, and he said, when you come to Gonzaga, not if you come to Gonzaga, when you come to Gonzaga, we're going to have you do a bunch of cool stuff.
Talbott was able to do some cool stuff at Gonzaga, including play-by-play for Gonzaga baseball games.
Smoke to center, Brown able to make the catch with the sun in his eyes, and it keeps the Zags in the lead with a tremendous defensive play.
However, Gonzaga's broadcasting program also challenged him to diversify his skill set.
Everything is going to be expected and required of any of our students who want to make it in the professional world. Greg had natural ability to step in front of a camera and be glib and poignant and funny and interesting, all of the things that really attract people to the message. And I think what he found when he got here was that's part of the equation, but now I feel like he's very, very well-rounded.
I really resented him for it at first, but the fact that Dan Garrity makes you learn how to shoot and edit and produce and everything else, I wasn't particularly good at any of that stuff, but Dan made me improve and be good.
After graduating in 2013, Talbott quickly got into the professional workplace. After a stint at KNDU in the Tri-Cities, he found his current job.
And I got an email on my phone that said, sports anchor opening, lead sports anchor, WSAV, Savannah, Georgia. We need someone who's energetic, who loves sports, who's able to broadcast college sports and do play-by-play. And I looked at Dan and I said, Dan, this sounds like they're describing me. So the next day I applied and I heard back the next night.
At WSAV, Talbott has made GUTV history as the first grad to do play-by-play coverage for a Division I basketball game.
It is a nearly freezing night here in the Southeast, but the energy is high in Statesboro because Georgia Southern basketball is back. Glad you could join us with Andrew Davis. I'm Greg Talbott, and Andrew, two very similar teams tonight. They are both very young. They have almost identical records, but they could be the two most fun teams to watch in the conference.
At the young age of 25, Gregory Talbott is well on his way to achieving his dreams. Through relentless hard work and a passion for the game, Talbott has found a home in Savannah, Georgia. It was really great getting to know Greg. He's a nice guy, and he's not just like a broadcaster in the sense. He's also like a fan. He's a really big fan of the Zags. He told me that in 2013, he was a senior back then. That was the Zags team with Kelly Olynyk. And they grabbed the #1 seed that year, and he really got caught up in the hysteria of it. And he thought they were going to win a national championship.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
And then they lost in the second round to Wichita State, which was devastating. He said he got his heart broken by that. So GU students out there, Greg Talbott wants you to keep cautiously optimistic about this year's team, although I think he thinks they got a pretty good chance.
I think we got it at least. It's amazing how much this program has impacted Greg's life and see what he's going to do. I can't wait to see what he's going to do in the future, to be honest.
But before alumni like Greg left GU, they were once seniors with big goals for the future. Kelsey Morgan picked one of our many outstanding seniors who exemplifies the idea of aiming high.
DanaMarie McNicholl-Carter is a senior broadcast major with not only 4 names, but many talents. And she's got her eye on the Big Apple.
It was that energy and passion and excitement of that city that completely drew me in. And I've never been obsessed about a place in my whole entire life like I am about New York. And thankfully, it is the mecca of broadcast media news. So that is my goal. I hope to go to a great starter market where I could learn a lot and maybe a morning reporter. That's kind of where I see myself. But who knows? I mean, it's second semester senior year and there's so much opportunity ahead of me.
But she wasn't always so sure. DanaMarie spent her entire freshman year of college as a business major before realizing her calling was elsewhere.
I had to do some sort of self-realization, and I realized that, you know, this is really what I want to do. This is my dream, and I just kind of have to jump in it. And since then, I've never looked back. I remember emceeing the Professor Dan show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ask Professor Dan show. I'm DanaMarie McNicholl-Carter, your announcer for the evening.
I just watched that YouTube video, I think, a couple weeks ago, and I was just laughing just because of how much I've grown and how fun that was and how close I got with those classmates who are still my classmates now, senior year, who I absolutely love working with still.
In the years that followed the Ask Professor Dan show, DanaMarie has developed a passion for being in front of the camera.
You know, every single step of the way, every project that I do, I get more and more excited and more energized about getting into the professional world and having my first job as an MMJ or a reporter. I couldn't imagine doing anything else at this point, really.
One project she was a part of was GUTV's Destination LA, where DanaMarie and 4 classmates accompanied Professor Dan to Los Angeles, California to follow the Zags men's basketball team for a weekend.
We're on the beautiful campus of Loyola Marymount University in Southern California. The sun is shining, it's 60 degrees, but most importantly, there's no snow on the ground.
Destination LA was one of the most memorable, if not the most memorable experience at GUTV I will take with me. We hit the ground running. It was truly a real world experience. We shot, we edited, we wrote scripts, we interacted with alumni, covered the game.
And while that weekend was lots of fun, DanaMarie says it was a valuable learning experience too.
I think the one thing that I'm really going to take away is how important deadlines are and how important it is to, when something doesn't go your way, you're going to have to be able to think about plan C, D, and F, because A and B are probably not going to happen.
Along with her passion for broadcast journalism, DanaMarie has a passion for pageants too. She's been involved in the Miss America organization for the last 7 years.
And it's an incredible scholarship organization that has really made me into who I am today. I had my first title when I was 14 years old, and I was out in the community talking to people and interviewing them and asking them, why they love San Diego, and doing all that community service. And that experience at a young age, I think, really propelled me into wanting to be a broadcast journalism major, and now wanting to do that for my profession.
After 4 years at Gonzaga and a semester spent in Madrid, Spain, DanaMarie is confident that she has lived her college years to the fullest.
When everyone asks me, why did you choose Gonzaga, I say it's a God thing, because I truly believe it is. I think the community of people that I'm going to leave Gonzaga with is something that I will take and hold on to for the rest of my life. I know my broadcasting classmates I will keep in touch with, still be friends with. I'll still be friends with Dan. I'm excited to come back as an alumni and hopefully talk to the students, just like alumni has helped me so greatly throughout my whole process.
Soon, DanaMarie will be up here signing the cable tray as all graduating broadcast majors do. But she's not waiting till she graduates to make her mark. She's already using her passions as a broadcast journalist and her pageant platform to advocate for the wheelchair basketball community. She's hard at work on a mini documentary that will highlight one local team's talent. But we know that won't be the last we hear from DanaMarie McNicholl-Carter. Reporting for GUTV, I'm Kelsey Morgan.
We're all really excited to see what Dana does with her ambition, hard work, and talent in the future. With graduation right around the corner, it's great to see she's so focused on the future.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll go to Kelsey in the Tweet Suite, who's going to announce the winner of this week's giveaway.
And I'll be sitting down with Andy Buhler of the Bulletin to talk about some tips you need to know when filling out your bracket. You're watching GUTV.
I'm blessed to work both in ministry and in sports, so I love seeing how sports and spiritual life really work together. I think there's so much overlap. Just the sense of community that can come from both leads to better understanding ourselves, better understanding each other, and just like when you go to church, you gather every week with maybe the same people, maybe some new people, but you kind of do the same thing every week. It's a lot like going to a Zags game. When you do Zombie Nation, it's the same thing every time, but doing the same thing over and over again brings about that community, brings about a bigger meaning, and it's the same when I go to Mass. Because just like, I'm a huge Zags fan, so just like I will sit down and look at when the games are on my calendar, and I'll make plans to watch on ESPN or make plans to go get a ticket, I dedicate myself because I'm passionate about it. I want to enjoy it with others. I want to get into it. And it's the same with prayer. I find it really helpful when I sit down and I find a time of the day that I'm awake enough and I'm free enough to just spend some time with God, some time growing closer to Christ. I think there's a lot of similarities, a lot of things that we can learn about life and about our spiritual life in particular from our love of sports.
Welcome back to GUTV Bracketology, your March Madness destination. It's now time to announce the winner of this week's promotion, so I'll hand it off to Kelsey Morgan in our tweet suite. Kelsey?
Yeah, Angela, we are going to talk about the winner, but first let's talk about who brought us this promo this week. It was sponsored by Gonzaga's Model United Nations team. These guys look at the diplomatic processes the United Nations uses, and they tackle global issues such as cybersecurity and human equality. And these guys are good at what they do. They took the top spot in a regional competition in Portland this last February, earning the title of Outstanding Delegation. Congrats on that accomplishment, guys, and thanks for sponsoring our promo this week. The winner of that promo was Veronica Murray. Veronica is a GUTV alum, and she is just waiting for Selection Sunday, and she can't wait to see what new things we come up with in bracketology this year. Well, Veronica, I know we won't disappoint. And if you haven't signed up for bracketology yet, you still have time. You have to make your account and fill out your bracket by Tuesday. For now, let's go back to Cohen, who's talking with Andy Buhler of the Bulletin Sports. Cohen?
All right, thanks, Kelsey, and congrats to the winner. There'll be many more opportunities, so keep your eye on the GUTV social media. Now I'm here with Andy Buhler, the sports editor for the Gonzaga Bulletin. How are you doing today, Andy?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
So we got a lot of new players sometimes for the bracket. How do you fill out your bracket? How do you choose what teams you think will win?
Well, first, it's almost like a multiple choice test. You got to trust your gut. If you think, even if you've never seen, never even heard of a Florida Gulf Coast as a 15 seed or what they may be, if you think, I like that team, I like the way that they sound, just trust your gut, because experts, you might, even if you haven't watched a minute of college basketball, you might do better than the experts.
There's a lot of advanced statistics in college basketball and in sports in general now. Do you use any advanced statistics like Ken Pomeroy or anything to decide what's a team that might not be a big popular team, but you can find them far in your bracket?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you look at adjusted defensive numbers, adjusted defensive efficiency, and teams that can get hot from three, that can definitely, those stats can definitely fare for your bracket. So those are always good sites to check out. But I mean, beyond that, I look at big players. You look at teams with guys who have made big shots over the course of a season and who have had the sort of basketball version of a Heisman moment, because those are the players that are really going to step up in March, typically.
Gonzaga is a team with big defensive efficiency numbers. Okay, give me your prediction for Gonzaga, quick.
If you would have asked me a couple days ago when they struggled through the first couple games of the WCC tournament after losing to BYU, I would have said it might be looking rough, but I'm thinking Final Four. They look really good against St. Mary's.
Final Four, that's huge. All right, that's all the time we have. Thanks, Andy, for coming in, and thank you for tuning in tonight. This is our bracketology show. The second one will be coming up Wednesday, March 22nd at 5 p.m. We'll keep you updated on the standings for our bracketology and all things March Madness. So good night, folks. And as always, go Zags.